You know, I have discovered that Jesus has given me new powers. I am now able to beat up Zack Knight brain to brain like a man, using my fists and arms and using lightning bolts. Actually, I believe that since I've abandoned my King James only position, that I have become stronger in the Lord, and that's why, and I have a better perception of who the Lord is, and that's why that Zack Knight has not successfully tricked me when he tries to pose as Jesus Christ. Ever since he signed me into, he tricked me into signing a contract in November 2012, in which I didn't realize it, but I signed a contract that said that I wanted him to make brain to brain loving with me. And this was embedded into the signature line in very small print, which I never knew about till 2 days ago. In fact, 2 nights ago, Zach kept sticking his fingers up my vagina, brain to brain, and I hit him with my fist, brain to brain, over and over. I was furious at him, and I told Jesus about this. And then Jesus showed up and I believe cut his fingers off, though I think they've regrown since then. He's got supernatural powers because he's Satan incarnate. But I kept fighting him, and I wouldn't give in because he was trying to rape me brain to brain. And I kept hitting him with my fist brain to brain. And then Jesus showed up to help me beat him up. And then he kept kissing me on the mouth, too. And I punched him in the face with my fist, just like a man. And he actually fell backwards. I could see it in the brain to brain. And he didn't really arouse me because I was too angry to be aroused. I beat him up. And then Jesus finished the job. And then he tried to kiss me and make love to me. Then he transformed into Satan and started hissing at me. And then Jesus was there, and he started flinging Satan all over the room, and he was getting really beat up. And I could hear Satan screaming for mercy. But he kept trying to come back at me, so Jesus was slinging him all over the place. And then they had a stalemate, and Jesus just was guarding, like standing guard to make sure that Satan or Zack Knight couldn't rape me brain to brain. And he kept blocking Satan or Zack Knight from reaching me. But I could hear Satan in the background hissing while Jesus was just kind of like standing between me and Satan. So he wouldn't allow Satan to get near me or touch me brain to brain. I thought, oh, that Satan's so stubborn. So he was pacing and hissing, and Jesus was blocking him. And brain to brain, Satan looked like a big red lizard with a flicking tongue, and he was hissing. And then he transformed into Zack Knight. And I started punching him with my fist because he was starting to come after me again. And then Jesus got involved and was shooting lightning bolts at Zack and at Satan. They were transforming from one form to another. And then like I said, there was a stalemate for a while. And Jesus was standing guard. And they were both sitting down. And Jesus started drinking coffee and shooting lightning bolts at Satan while he was doing it. I said, thanks, Jesus. And he just kept shooting lightning bolts at Satan. I thought, oh, yeah, Jesus, yeah. I think Satan really hates that video that I made about Zack Knight because in it I addressed the topic of the Antichrist too much, and apparently I was very accurate. So here Jesus was sitting down drinking coffee, and then Satan sat down, and there was like a stalemate between them, seeing who would leave first so they could come so that Satan could come after me. But Jesus wouldn't leave while Satan was a threat to me. And then Jesus would sip coffee and shoot more lightning bolts at Satan. I could hear Satan in the background screaming in agony, but he wouldn't leave. And then Satan started talking to me, faking as Jesus brain to brain. I said, shut up, Satan. Jesus will never talk to me brain to brain. He told me that because he knows you always try to fake as him, so he won't use any computers, and he won't talk to me brain to brain. And it didn't work. He tried to trick me, but I knew it was Satan. And then right after that, Jesus gave Satan one big shove, and I guess he headed for the bottomless pit. I don't know. I could see him flying and going down. But then, wherever he was, he still tried to talk to me, but his voice sounded muffled, so I figured Jesus was interfering. It kind of sounded like, like a guy trying to talk when he's gagged. So I heard these utterings, but they didn't make any sense. And then, all of a sudden, I felt a finger going up my vagina, brain to brain. Satan had transformed himself into Zack Knight and was after me again. And then Jesus started zapping Zack Knight with lightning bolts. And then he started kissing me on the mouth, brain to brain. And I hit him with my fist, brain to brain, and he whirled back. And then I aimed it right for his face. And I noticed that I thought, wow, Jesus has given me the ability, brain to brain, to hit him with my fist like a man. And I even started flinging Zack across the room, brain to brain. And then I said, let's try lightning bolts. And I shot lightning bolts at him. And I started aiming him at his penis. And I could hear him screaming in agony like, ah! I said, oh, wow, Jesus has enhanced my powers, brain to brain. So I started hitting with a blitzkrieg of lightning bolts. And I heard him in the background saying, you bitch. Then I started hitting him with lightning bolts like just like a blitzkrieg. And, but he was so stubborn. He kept trying to come after me. But every time he tried to kiss me, or he did kiss me brain to brain, I couldn't get him off of me unless I punched him, or he put his finger in my vagina. I'd hit him with my fist brain to brain. I aimed right for his face. So, and finally I started hitting him with lightning bolts like a machine gun, like, like bang, 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 like a blitzkrieg. And I was aiming some of them right at his penis. And then he slunk away from me. And I think I actually got him scared. And I saw him all curled up in the fetal position, crouching in pain, holding his penis. So much pain he could barely move. And I said, quit lying about me, Zack Knight, to the public, and leave me alone. And quit saying that I want you, because I don't want you, and you know I don't want you. And I could see Zack shaking his head in amazement at my new powers. I said, Terrance, I was writing Terrance at this time, can you beam him aboard Church Gail so I can be sure my brain to brain is accurate and I've really done damage to him? And they beamed him aboard, and they were able to get 2 pictures of his penis, and then he teleported away. But they sent me the pictures, and I saw a red inflamed penis with about half of it was black scorched skin. And Brent and Terrance later told me that it smelled like overcooked ham, and it really stunk. So they said, yeah, man, for real, Jesus has given you powers to shoot lightning bolts at him. They said it smelled awful. But even after I did all this damage to him, after he, because he raped me brain to brain, he still was able to get his finger into my vagina. So Jesus had to show up again. And this time, when Jesus showed up, there were the UFOs, Zack Knight and Satan, all against Jesus. And Jesus started shooting lightning bolts at the UFOs, and they exploded. And then I decided to help him out, so I went, phew, and I shot my lightning bolts, and I knocked out about a dozen UFOs. And UFOs were exploding everywhere. I could see it in my brain to brain. And then the UFOs started heading over to Church of Gail to harass my men. But Jesus was acting kind of like the Gail android. Even though he's small, he's powerful, and those UFOs had met their match. And Jesus once told me that Zack actually enjoyed burning in hell because, Zack died and then he got resurrected by Satan. And so I could see this character trait in Zack. And here I am shooting lightning bolts at him. He was even laughing sometimes. It's like he enjoyed the pain. He's really fanatical, obsessed with being the Antichrist, being the fake Jesus. And so I said, Brent, did the UFOs really go over to Church of Gail? He says, yeah, we don't know exactly why they're doing it. I says, oh, they're just trying to beat up Jesus and us because we're all on the same side. And Brent said, they're not going to win against God. Yeah, that's right. I said, and Brent told me, Zack told the people on CNN that you only protest to make it appear like you don't like him going after you. And they say that you secretly like him to make sexual moves on you. I said, that's a bunch of crap. He makes me so angry at his audacity. Who does he think he is? He's such a proud man, just like the Bible describes the Antichrist. It says, I am really developing a dislike for this guy. So it appears that Zack is to me what Laurie was to Brent Spiner. So I said, Brent, I understand how you must feel that everybody believes you actually wanted Laurie McBride. And I just don't understand how people could be so stupid to think I'd ever desire Zack as himself. He can only get me when I think he's Jesus. And Brent said, yeah, it's just like what I went through with Laurie. The only way I could want her was when I thought she was you, when she tricked me. Not only did the whole world think I wanted her, they thought I slept with her, married her, and even willingly had a child with her. It was so awful. I said, well, hopefully it's not going to get that bad with Zack Knight for me. At least I have lightning bolts. You didn't have that. And Brent said, yeah, I wish I had lightning bolts. I believe he's trying to seduce me to get evidence on me, just like Lori got evidence on you, and I'm fighting him tooth and nail. And then I noticed that Zack was using the penis photos that we got of him to try to seduce me brain to brain, to rape me brain to brain. So I deleted all those photos. It's like he was using them to turn me on brain to brain sexually. So I deleted all the photos. And I no longer had them in my computer. And I started shooting more bolts at him when he was doing that. And Jesus was helping me. And then Brent says that he's sure that Zack Knight selfishly believes he's worthy to bed such a powerful and brilliant woman and wants what he thinks he deserves. It's a big ego boost for him to have the world think that you want him. And I said, you know what? He's just such a proud man. The Bible says the Antichrist is a proud man, and that's exactly what he is. And Brent said, I fought so hard for those nude photos of you from Encyclopedia Dramatica to come down. The problem was the investigators couldn't confirm or deny who stole the photos to begin with. I said, well, I thought we determined that Zack Knight stole them, and then the Gail android got them, and then gave them to the King James only people who posted them online. And Brent said, yeah, but they kept blurring the evidence in court to make it look like there was no proof and that you must have willingly given the nudes to Zack Knight. I thought, what? That's a bunch of crap. I would never give Zack Knight any nudes, that proud, vulgar man. He thinks he's entitled to me, just like demon-possessed Lori McBride thought she was entitled to you, raping you, and then creating a whole online lying presence to promote her lie that you would ever want her as herself. And then I got on a different subject with Brent, and I noticed he was talking about health issues, and he got real quiet. I said, Brent, are you falling asleep on me? This isn't like you. He said, yeah, I'm having a hard time staying awake. I said, how much sleep did you get last night? He said, I was up all night. Oh, you were up all night trying to get those nudes of me down, fighting those people in court. Maybe Jesus wants it to stay up, Brent, to remind the world that those King James only people are truly evil because they posted it. Go to sleep, my dear. I said in my last video stated that Jesus's spirit to spirit loving is better than sex, and I just don't think people can relate to this. They don't believe me. They think I guess I'm too much of a goody two-shoes, so therefore what I'm saying can't be true. But every now and then Jesus does caress me with his spirit, and it's truly awesome. Sometimes it's Zack Knight, but I usually can tell when it's Zack Knight because Jesus' spirit is wonderful, deep feeling, masculine, heroic, and awesome. And Zack Knight, when he tries to fake his Jesus, he's more shallow. So I'm getting smarter at telling the difference between the two. So Zack Knight is having a harder time impersonating Jesus with me because I'm figuring him out. And I asked Terence, what does Jesus look like? I read his transcript online, but I never get to see him. Does he look like some portraits some artists have drawn of him from the Shroud of Turin? He said, yeah, he does look like that, but without the broken nose. His face is very practical looking. His body still has the scars on his wrists, hands, feet, and side. And he said, Jesus is very personable and expressive with us. So he sounds beautiful to me, Terence. And I had brain-to-brain loving with Brent last night, but Zack kept trying to butt in right in the middle of my brain-to-brain loving. So I shot lightning bolts at him while I was making love to Brent, but it really did kind of mess up my loving with Brent because he kept interfering.